I just froze up. So we're live. I'm live. This is Timika Chambers with Fulfill Your Divine Purpose. I hope your Monday is off to a great start. And today is Heart to Heart Mondays. I started having these heart to heart talks, discussions, maybe that will help you dig into your heart as you fulfill your divine purpose, as you navigate your earthly journey here. Um, I believe that when we come here, when we come to earth, we know what it is that we are here to do. I believe that the relationship, when they say babies see angels, I believe that we have we have this knowing, this internal knowing as a baby that somehow gets drowned with our life experiences. We, unfortunately, we allow the drowning. We, through our perceptions, through our thoughts, that experiences are experiences. And it's when we start attaching labels to them, we start defining them and labeling them as good, as bad, as destructive. And when we're quick to label our experiences, we're quick to label ourselves. And I remember I was in the back of my grandmother's house, and we when we moved to Memphis, that we lived there for approximately about a year. And I remember saying, out of the blue, I have great reflexes. And I would notice every time when it came to handling something and something falling, I would automatically go to catch it. And I would catch it 9 times out of 10. And I started thinking, oh, this mind, if I think a certain way, then there's a possibility of it happening, right? I started linking thoughts with fruition, with what can happen, as a man thinketh, with James Allen. Eckhart Tolle has talked about the thoughts and labeling experiences. And I never, when I knew that, I didn't like to label stuff. I didn't care about labeling because I know often when you label, and I would see experiences, I would have family members to visit me, and one of my family members, they would label her. And what I found out, beyond the tears, the crying, the disappointments of the labeling, I saw somebody else who has been tagged with all these different labels, or actually allowed these labels to place all over her mind, her body, that she began to act out these labels. And I saw somebody different. I saw somebody underneath those labels, underneath the mask. And I know that often we get comfortable with wearing those masks, because then we become afraid of being who we are. We come, there's so much of trying to belong and trying to be accepted that often our actions will be totally opposite of who we feel we are. We know we're much more than a label. We know we have gifts. We know we have talents. We have things that we love. We deserve respect and dignity. We know that. But we allow these labels to press against us, these seeds of thoughts, to come into our inner garden and reshape, if you will, reprogram who we are from our initial programming. If you've been listening to my podcast and here on Facebook, as well as in my blogging, my first introduction to pain was before the age of 5, when I realized that my father was abusing my mother, and I had told a family member. And next thing you know, I was in the kitchen as if I was on trial. I sat in the kitchen chair back against the wall, and my father was waving his hands and arguing and fussing. And one thing I know for sure that he told me I had no right to tell what was going on at home. And I went inward because I'm like, am I wrong? And I came out believing or thinking, no, it is wrong to abuse people. You're wrong because you're not wanting to admit the truth. I didn't say you're wrong. I said you're not thinking, you're not wanting to admit the truth. But something happened that day, that going inside, I allowed seeds of thoughts, seeds of doubt to enter into my subconscious garden. And so when it came my time to experience the projection of pain, I'm baffling what to do, and I didn't know. But here's my mother talking about God, and he's there, he's always there, seek him for yourself. And I wanted to know. I felt there was something out there that loved me. Laying in the bed at night, looking at the dark lit sky, and just feeling a connection that I couldn't really articulate at the time. And I reached out and looked out and said, I want to be aligned with nature. After this projection of pain, 5 years, age of 10, something in me knew that I needed help, right? I wasn't acting out, but something in me knew I didn't want to end up in that same situation. I didn't want to be the abuser, and I didn't want to end up in a situation similar to that. So I reached out to nature and I said, I want to be aligned with nature. And a series of events followed. Reading the Bible, front to back, learning the Lord's Prayer, receiving a bookmark, and like, oh my gosh, 15 minutes memorizing it, and then learning about Jesus. Now, you may think, oh, this is getting religious. No, it's not about religion, because I never saw my journey as religion. I saw it as a spiritual unfolding. And Jesus never talked about religion. It was more about being who you are, having faith in your ability to heal yourself, treating others with respect. He was the first portrayal of a man that I saw that gave me hope, that allowed me to battle a lot of those lingering thoughts that could be labels. You're dirty. You're afraid of men. And I remember walking in my garden and saying, no, my mind went warp speed. And I said, I can't live that way. We can't live by labels. And the labels can trap you into something and being that you're not. And so I took the student approach to life when I began to learn from my experiences that I believed that life was about character and building character. And I believe you can take any potentially traumatic experience, because I didn't label what happened to me. It was more about learning and growing, and I knew now what love was not. I knew what integrity was not. Some examples. I knew I didn't want to be a liar or called a liar. So it had me to search for the truth. Whatever you have gone through, you can make it work for your good. You can help use it to bring out the best in you. And the way that you do that is that you resist the urge to identify with your experiences. If someone projected pain on you, it was their choice, their responsibility, especially as a child, when naturally we're creative beings. We want to explore life and enjoy life. We're curious. We trust. All natural attributes that we should not be ashamed of or hold back because we feel that it is our fault. Nothing an adult does is a child's fault. We are not responsible for someone who knew better. And even if you did know that something was wrong, I knew something was wrong, but in my mind, I thought I could handle it. as a child. And so resist the urge to identify with what happened to you. It is not your fault. What you are responsible for is how you perceive the experience. What you think of yourself. Because what you think of yourself, your image, your self-image, affects your self-confidence. It affects your ability or what you think is your ability to achieve your life dreams, your goals. You are responsible for your emotions and your feelings. You master your emotions and your feelings. They are not to be the master of you. What you experienced was an experience, and how we choose to see it is our responsibility. It was my responsibility. I didn't look to blame them. I resisted. I'll say I resisted the urge because there is some guilt, some anger. How did I let that happen, right? But then we're going down the dark valley. Some things we may not understand this lifetime. But what I do know is that you have control over your mind. You are here for a purpose. Your life has meaning. You have gifts, divine gifts and talents that are here to reflect, to express on earth as an expression of love through music, art, whatever it may be. Do not associate your gift. Resist the urge of associating your gift with the experience. The people that projected their pain on me, one of them, great artists, beautiful drawings. I love the gift of artistry of being able to duplicate what's in earth or surroundings on paper. Magnificent. If I had taken that and blamed him and associated art with him, I would not be here for myself in drawing, and I would not be here for my children who love art. They, guess what? They replicate, duplicate things they've seen days, weeks, years ago in their art. And I couldn't be present in the present if I was still in the past. And associating your nervous system in your body innervates every organ, cells, communicating with them day in and day out, giving them the messages that you've allowed to be planted in your subconscious mind, in your garden. So whether it's saying you're stupid, you're dumb, you're to blame, you're to fault, your anxiety, you're depressed, you're unstable, are all the messages that every cell in your body is hearing every day, or majority every day. What body can survive, can thrive from those messages? And the others are not an option because your life is a gift. And so we need to, at some point, we have to start retraining our body, retraining the messages in our mind. And the way we do that is with our voice and with our mind and speaking the truth. That no experiences, none of them, define you. They are an opportunity for you to learn about yourself, for you to grow and evolve spiritually. So resist the urge to identify with not only the experience, but those that projected their pain on you. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. Many people, yes, are doing the work, but there's inner turmoil that they have yet to deal with, and that can affect what you're doing in life. Are you even on the path of pursuing your purpose? Do you have thoughts of it? Or are you just thinking that I can't do it now because I still haven't gotten over what they did to me? I still haven't gotten over the past. Therefore, I cannot live in the present. I cannot think about the future because I'm still in the past. I went on a detour. out of the need. I wasn't sure. I thought my compass had been broken. I wasn't sure what I was good at. Doctor, didn't really like operation. It was fun, the game. Then I'm looking skate. Not really a skater. They look cool, but I can't do that right now for the living. So I heard my mother's heart-wrenching story of wanting to be a nurse. And I took on that because I felt like that no one had the right to interfere with your purpose. You have maybe taken detours in your life. Mine was a 20-year detour. And often we think we're stuck in that detour because we took it. There's no way out. Let me tell you, there's always a way. Resist the temptation, number 2, and placing limitations on yourself, on your purpose. Even if you have taken a detour, you can come back home again to your true self. The seeds of your purpose, the seeds of your passion, the seeds of your gifts are still within you. They have not left. They are there. And what we have to do is dig them out, resurface them. And that is, number 1, believing that they are there, that your life has meaning and it has purpose. So no matter what detours you have been on, no matter what routes you have taken, some harmful, some helpful, in between, I learned a lot about character. I learned about the generational cycle of pain. I saw it many times, hundreds, if not thousands of people in my life. Professionally, as a nurse, over 20 years in the healthcare industry, and personally, even in my own life, seen it. How we can allow thoughts to deter us on paths that are not our truths. But they can be learning paths. We can learn from them. So my thing is resist guilt. Resist the need for guilt. You don't need it. You don't need to feel worse. You need to feel better. Resist the need for guilt. Resist the need for comparison. Your life is your life. And I remember going through that as an adolescent. That hold up. There's no need for jealousy. There's no need for resentment. I have a path, just like everyone else has a path in their life. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. If you are feeling stuck in your life, if you are feeling like your life doesn't matter or you don't have purpose, I need you to rethink it. Every life has purpose. Every life has meaning. When you look out here, everything, trees, oxygen, ridding the bad gases, giving us good gases, even the animals, houses, everything we see here has purpose, including human beings. And it's never to be the object of pain. It is to be an expression of love and truth. We are an expression of nature, a beautiful expression. And you've heard of many people that have experienced potentially traumatic things. And they have found another way to utilize their gifts. I had watched a story about a lady had a swimming accident, and I can't think of her name, but she was paralyzed, and she started painting with her mouth. Beautiful paintings. I want to say Helen Keller. I hope I'm not saying the name, but people that have not had their eyesight, unable to see, people that have been burned and physically disabled, knowing somewhere deep in them is a divine purpose for their lives. So as you fulfill your purpose, remember, it's not just about the end goal. It's about the process of evolving to the highest version of yourself. And the way we do that is that we have to look at how we're seeing the experiences that we are going through. We grow when we refuse to blame and label others and call them outside their name because we're angry, we're upset. Instead, we look inside and we remember who we are. Remember that we are loving beings, that there's mercy, there is grace, and people have gotten lost and off their path. The person who projected his pain on me, one of them, he was imprisoned a long time ago before he got behind the physical bars, imprisoned by his mind, by his image of himself. So I want you to think about your heart. I want you to think that because of what you've gone through, do you deserve to hold on to anger, resentment, guilt, shame, detours, projection of pain, people lying, people calling you outside your name, people not owning the truth, whatever it may be? Do you deserve to die of heart disease, to die of a stroke, heart attack, to have all of those complications, potential complications that can happen when you lack joy in your heart, when you lack compassion and grace and mercy? Because you deserve a life of joy, of happiness. You deserve to be the highest version of yourself. You deserve to do the things that you love, regardless of what anyone did or did not do for you. Often we attach labels to people. You're my mother, you're my father, you should have done this. Let me tell you, when people are in pain, often they are blinded by the truth. They're hypnotized by their pain. They don't see you. But you can see you. You can choose to be different and be a reflection of what you are. It is not too late. You have breath. You're living, you're breathing. You have life in you. Whatever it is that brings joy to you, do it. Whatever you have in your heart that you know is callousing your heart, it's infecting other generations with anger and bitterness and resentment, we need to let it go. We need to say no more. And the one way that you heal, to me, the only way you heal from the inside out is acknowledging the truth, accepting the truth. You can move forward with your life, accepting what happened, but also accept that you are not defined by your experiences. You are greater than that. You came here to experience life. And in that midst of everything, people have projected pain on others, but it doesn't mean you become the pain. You don't become the storm. You become the stillness in the storm. So I hope I've had shed some light on heart issues and how you can resist a lot of those complications that come with heart disease, chronic health conditions. You're not a statistic. Statistics were made after human life. You're not a statistic. No one's life is the same. Research is great for understanding, but it should never be used to label you and to define you and to limit you. I may be a little anxious, I may be angry, I may be resentful, but it is not who I am. It is the mindset that I want to get people to see. It is not who you are. Even myself, it is not who you are. What I say to you, I say to myself. Because I want to see every spirit light up this earth. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a fantastic week. Resist to be labeled by your experiences. Resist to identify with your experiences. Resist to identify those who projected their pain on you. I need you to ground yourself in your truth. You cannot be defined by experiences. You are greater than that. You are a spirit clothed in human form. You cannot be defined. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Make this lifetime great because you can.